going into it. What have you seen?
Well, it's hard to do any kind of evaluation because some of the guys have been on the ice 0 times, and some guys have been on 5, 6. So they're all in different stages of their training program. So it's difficult, but I think the pace is good, the execution is good, and the biggest thing is they're all meeting each other and talking to each other. So more than what you see on the ice, you see in the personalities off the ice, and that gives us a heads up on some guys.
Yeah, so from that perspective, then, some guys that spent last season playing for you, whether it's Thomas or Brad or Carson, there's a few of them. You had Colby near the end of the year. Have you noticed a different way that they're carrying themselves into this camp?
100%. Yeah, it's interesting what that year does to their personalities and how they carry themselves and how they act within the group. And you can tell the maturity level there of some of the guys, like Brad, for example. He comes in and he's now a little bit of swagger to him and carries himself within this group as a leader. And and you see that for some other guys too. And talking to Colby, like at the end of the year, he got a little bit of ice time with us, and that helps. He knows where he stands and knows what things he has to improve on. Chaz Luchas, I know he's been injured, but he walks around, he knows everybody. He's more comfortable in the situation here. So, yeah, very good.
Do you get the sense that there could be genuine opportunities for some of these young guys that are really knocking on the door, that spend a lot of time with the Moose, especially in light of Chevy's comments on July 1st about, young players in this organization should be excited about opportunities in front of them?
Yeah, I think they all probably listen to Chevy's comments. They all watch what's going on, and I'm sure they think that there's opportunity for them, and gives them a little bit of energy, a little bit of jump, and work a little bit harder in the year and give themselves a chance.
Mark, I wanted to ask you about Chaz. It seemed like he was playing some really good hockey before he finally shut it down, and he was saying that this was an ankle issue that had kind of been bothering him for a while. It just got to the point. I guess, first of all, what were you seeing from Chaz in his kind of first real go at it here?
Are you talking about last year?
Yeah, last year.
Well, we see skill in Chaz for sure. I mean, he can make some plays that we saw that's why you're a first round draft pick. But he's been hampered by that ankle for a long time, and I went out and watched him skate this morning a little bit, and just his comments on it feels better now than it's felt even before he got the surgery. So he was skating out there, and he's got a smile on his face, and a little bit of jump to him, and things look good there.
The mental side of it, I imagine, can be really tough, especially for young players. A guy like him, big expectations that come with where he's selected, and he's had so many injury issues. He talked about some veteran guys like Jeff Malott cooking for him last year and just reaching out to kind of make sure he's okay. So that's a big part of it for any athlete, right?
100%, and that's one of the things that the Moose do a great job at. Veteran players leading the young guys. A lot of young guys start with the Moose, and the management does a great job of bringing those veteran guys in that help that type of situation. And Chaz, he's had a lot of support here within the organization, and I've got high hopes for him.
Just want to ask you about one other guy that's here on an invite. Has the bloodline in Vlad Nemestikov. He's playing for the Jets Max. He's not going to jump out because of his size, obviously, but just what do you see from a guy like that? He looks like he's a bit of a ball of energy out there.
Yeah, he moves real fast. He's got some offense to his game for sure. He's got a lot of energy, and he's got a great personality around here too. Brings a lot of energy.
Mark, what impressed you about what Thomas Milic did in winning the job essentially? Starting out in the ECHL All-Star, and by the end of the year, he's in the net for your most important games.
Yeah, pretty impressive for a young first-year player to take over the starting role in the American Hockey League as a goalie, and took us right down into the playoffs and had a great run at the end. So we were impressed with him. A lot of work to do and carry on, but certainly did a very good job for us, and future looks bright.
Are you able to maybe walk us through the development you've seen in Brad Lambert over the past 12 months, both as a hockey player and as a man?
Yeah, well, the big thing with Brad is, and I say this every time someone asks me that question, his attitude is great. He brings the right attitude into the dressing room, into the ice rink. He's a listener. He takes information in, and he's getting better and better at that, taking the information in and applying it on the ice, applying it in the weight room. If a pro is talking to him, he takes that information in and works it in the gym or works it wherever he has to get better. So his attitude is consistently growing, and yeah, he's turned into a pro.
Kind of sounds like learning itself is a skill that these guys work on.
100%. You got to listen. You got to take in all sorts of different information from different coaches, different players. There's a lot of, there's seminars going on here about nutrition and weightlifting. They have a lot of information to take in. So, learning and retaining that is important.
With him, high school guy, probably going to be counted on to put up a lot of points at a lot of levels in his life. How important was it almost to struggle a bit during a great season every now and again, and then push back from it?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you asked those guys last year in the Moose where we struggled and went through some hard times, I think they all learned lessons out of that. They didn't give. They leaned on their veteran players. They asked questions. There was times where when you come to the rink and you're on a losing streak and you see a young kid, 20 years old, hanging his head down in the corner, you don't want to see that. But they persevered and battled through it, and those are learning experiences, and they'll learn from them.
I know you don't know which goaltender is going to be aside Thomas, but Eric Comrie means a lot to the organization. What does it mean for him to be back in the fold?
I think he's another genuine person, great personality, all the right morals, and as a person, just a great human being. So he's just somebody, another veteran player that's in the organization that we're glad to have.
More Moose related in development camp, but just in terms of like some of the guys that you guys lost, the Jeff Malots, Jeffrey Vials, how do you replace that? Especially a guy like Jeff who's been here for 4 years and really kind of been a big part of that culture that you've formed off the ice.
Yeah, well, I think they, as I said earlier, I think management does a real good job of replacing those guys with good people, and some of the signings that have gone on in the past here, I've seen, those are also good people, so they do a good job with that.
Let's talk about Morgan Klimchuk in the interview process, Mark.
Morgan's, there's a lot there. I mean, he's a first-round draft pick hockey player who things didn't pan out for him in the game of hockey, and he's a hard-working guy. He's very sharp, and one of the things that was stood out for me was if you go through his scouting report as a player, his high hockey sense. And so that's something great for the young players that he can pass on, is the hockey sense.